Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick, and this is Super Simple Security Principles, where we talk about digital security principles that are easy to understand no matter your skill level. We are part of the I Hate Passwords Digital Self-Defense Academy, or IHP Academy for short. All right, today we have episode 19. Don't be a punching bag for spam. As always, joining me today are Master Guardian Makani.
Fun episode today, Nick.
Yes, sir. Let's go. This episode is for those of you who love their email address and don't want to get a new one. In episode 17, we talked about getting a new email account and using unique email addresses like passwords. Fantastic concept. I loved it. But today, we are focusing on those who want to keep their email address, but realize they need a spam solution. So here you go. Listen up if you're ready for that spam solution.
Thanks, Nick. That's exactly right, because this is a tool that anyone can use with their current email account. And of course, that takes some effort, but it's super simple, so simple that we can describe it in 2 words: report spam. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. I used to assume that everyone was already reporting spam. I realize now that was just my computer geek blindness, because for me, reporting spam is quick and easy and not something that I need to do particularly often anyway, since I only get around 10 spam a year, which we talked about in episode 17. But then as I was listening, I noticed people talking about deleting their spam, not reporting spam, but simply deleting it. And whenever I've asked about it, it's always the same answer. They are, in fact, not reporting it. Often because they didn't realize there was any benefit to doing that compared to just deleting. But then I also noticed when I investigated closer that in many cases, it's actually a huge pain in the butt to report spam. And I'm looking at you, specifically iPhone. If you are using the default mail app on an iPhone or iPad, which is a way a ton of people I talk to check their email, they really make you work to report spam. So you take all that together, and that is why I decided it would be worthwhile to dedicate an episode to talking about just this tiny topic of spam reporting. So there's 3 questions that I want to make sure we get answered today. First is, why should I bother reporting spam? Which emails should I report as spam? This one might sound kind of obvious, but it's not as clear-cut as that. And then, what other kinds of spam besides email can I report?
Excellent. Okay, those are some great questions. Look, if you're going to keep your email address, but spam has crept its way into your inbox, it's important to report spam. So, Makani, let's start off with your first question. Why should I bother reporting spam?
I feel this is an important one to answer, because I know for most people, hearing the idea of reporting spam sounds about as fun as poking your eyes out, especially with the volume of spam that most people get, right? But here's the secret to it all. If you had been reporting spam from day one, you wouldn't be seeing that much of it. The sad reality is spam filtering just doesn't work that well without your individual spam report clicks. And because most people have been ignoring that for years, they just have a huge buildup. And I checked specifically with my brother, Kim, who's on the IHP team, about what his experience has been. And he has not approached spam like I have at all. He has a Gmail account that's over 15 years old and that he has used on many hundreds of websites, okay? Which means he has the potential for absolutely ridiculous amounts of spam. But he has faithfully reported spam from day one. And that means only small amounts of spam ever actually reach his inbox. And that can be true for you as well. Even if you're way behind right now, you can catch up. And of course, it's not going to happen in a day, but here's what I would predict for you. If you do it every day for a week, you should start seeing some progress. And if you do it regularly for a month, you should start seeing significant improvements. And if you don't, I would really love to hear about it because it's probably time to switch email providers.
Yeah, those are some killer points. Okay, best time to plant a tree is now. If you're wanting shade for the future, you better get that tree in the ground now. So the same applies for your spam. You want to get rid of it, start reporting it now.
So here's the interesting thing about reporting spam. Spam is one of those words that doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. Spam originally was meant to refer to unsolicited email sent in bulk. But because of the way the email system is developed, a lot of times that report spam button, when it is used, is treated more like a general purpose, I don't want this email button. But the problem is when you do that, it actually hurts your cause and helps the spammers because it makes the job of identifying that true unsolicited email spam more difficult. So to get really specific, there's just two cases that I recommend reporting spam. One is if you never gave that sender your email address. You start getting stuff from somebody, you have no idea who it is or how they know you. Two, you did give the sender your email address, you recognize them, but you've asked them to stop sending you email and they won't honor it. They continue spamming you anyway. Then I feel great about having you report spam. So one last point I want to talk about with reporting spam. Some people get tripped up by this because they wonder, okay, if the system knows that it's spam, why doesn't it just get deleted? Why does it go into my spam box? And it's because it's so hard for a computer to be positive that it's spam. So it leaves it there in case you have something that you're missing, you can go check there. But if it is there, it was already considered as spam, so you don't need to report spam that's in your spam box already.
Okay, so a good spot to start with our spam is those emailers who never leave me alone despite my repeated unsubscribe attempts. Or the next area is if we've never shared our info with them to begin with and they're hitting us up. All right. Are there any other types of spam we need to be aware of, Makani?
Because so few people even knew about the idea of reporting spam, I thought it would be worthwhile to just quickly mention that you can report spam text messages and phone calls as well. Give people a little hope about that spam as well. And we'll talk about how to do that in future episodes. But I think it's valuable to fight against every form of spam.
Makani, what would you like our listeners to take away from this episode or to remember?
I think I'd sum it up this way. Yes, it takes some time to fight spam, but when you stop to think about it, you know you're already wasting time because of spam. And at least to me, if you can proactively invest some time up front to save yourself a whole bunch of time and pain later, to me, that's a no-brainer.
All right, we've reached that time for our show. What's our call to action today?
Well, as you might guess, it's to start reporting some spam, but that starts by locating your report spam, or sometimes it's called report junk, actually often called report junk button. Just like last week, I built some instructions to help you find it with whatever email setup you have. And I put them on our free community forum, and there's a link in the show notes. Then, once you've figured out how to report spam, do it. You can even select a bunch of emails at once and report them all at the same time. Now, I know that some of you get so much spam that the idea of this plan is just too much work, too daunting. That's okay. If that's the case for you, don't worry about reporting every bit of spam or keeping up on your reports, but please report at least a few of them one time just so you've done it, because we will come back to this strategy once we've put some other pieces in place as well.
Let's take some time to invest in your privacy and security. Report spam. It's that simple. Okay, that's our super simple show today. If you're enjoying the podcast, you'll love our Security Dojo, the best place to level up your digital defenses. Makani will guide you every every step of the way. To find out more, visit helpmegetsafe.com. You can also find the link in our show notes. Thank you for joining us, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.